you talked about this last time we met in our interview. Art serves to divide people, and that watching a film and having no reaction or being kind of in the middle is not what you want to create as a filmmaker. You want to have this diversity of opinions, even on your own film. How is it this year? Have you seen any reactions or heard people talking about the film?
So this is intellectual matter. I have to change.
Okay.
Because I'm complex, you know? I'm complex. So they tell that is a film very not Eurocentric. It's really genuine African. And for me, I like that.
And did you get a negative response maybe? Did you hear people say something negative?
Of course. Negative, they say that it's not good for big public. Maybe it's not good for be screened in the cinemas. That's not a problem, this. I made the film and my team made the film. We are really happy. So now we can rest and don't think about other opinions. So it's a question of identity, you know, identity and.
And now the film has a life of its own. It goes on without you.
Yes.
And it is screened in a cinema at the festival here. Is the fact that your film is running on a big screen, is that important to you? Or?
This is important, of course. Yeah, it's really important. Yeah, it's important because it's Africa, and it's a voice to Africa here in a big festival. So, and we need a voice, a strong voice, because cinema it's another power. So a power against the other political power. So we need to be in a high place like Berlin, like a big festival.
There's responsibility in this. If you say your movie has power, can change things, and it battles other powers, are you thinking about this responsibility when you're making the film? Are you afraid sometimes that you could do something wrong and use this power in a wrong way?
Of course. Yeah, it's a big responsibility. Always. Because when we show our film to the audience, it's a lot of people, and there are people thinking, and we have a normal time of people that they are sitting in front of our work thinking. So it's a huge responsibility, of course.
Was there ever a moment where you thought you should have done something different because of this responsibility, because audiences maybe understood your movie in a wrong way and you created something that was not your intention?
It's a good question, Daniel. Yes, sometimes there are a temptation for that, to think, so we need to be careful when we talk about that. But at the same time comes the African identity, so we have to be correct with ourselves. If we are correct with ourselves, everything goes right. So, and responsibility is resolved.
It's important for you to be a voice, to have a voice, and to be heard, and to be invited to places like a big film festival. Do you feel like people are interested, moviegoers here or the media, everybody who's covering the festival, do they care about what you have to say? Or are you just here and feel like they watch the film and then they don't think about it anymore?
I don't know how to answer to that.
Maybe you need the glasses again.
Yeah, maybe. We don't need to be an intellectual when we are an artist, of course. We don't need. But we have to be very focused. So, and there's a problem with cinema. When you have investors, you have to be careful with the contracts and you have to respect them.
And now you said, and we talked about it, how important it is to screen your film at a theater, but there might be a future where theaters have vanished and just went away because everything goes online, because nobody wants to buy a ticket anymore. Do you think this future is possible, a future without cinema, and would you still want to be a filmmaker?
I want to be a filmmaker, and cinema it's made to be in big screen. Myself, I don't make films to see in formats very little because we don't see nothing. Because normally I shoot in a long distance, so it's to be screened in a big. So and the future of cinema, it's difficult, but cinema it's so important. Really, because it's a mirror of our minds, of our thoughts. And normally artists work in advance. So we need to go to the cinema to know how the worlds are going, you know. Edison invented cinema too, but Edison invented cinema, individual cinema, and Lumière invents a public cinema, and this is the cinema that won the past. So, and it's very important because when you are alone, Daniel, and when you are with Raphael and your friends, you are different. When you are in a room with 20, 13 persons, there's another collective identity. So, and this is really important when people think together about things. We become better human beings when we are in a collective, you know. That's why cinema is so important.
But for you alone, what was the moment, or maybe even what was the movie that inspired you to make films yourself and that taught you that there is a special language, a special magic in film that other art forms maybe don't have?
It was in my childhood. In my childhood, I lived in colonialism, you know, and in Africa it was really important, cinema for colonialism, because it was important because the white people from the Europe was a little bit alone and very far away from their countries. So cinema was a kind of connection in that time to Europe. And I grew up in this kind of context, you know. It was Chaplin and Laurel et Hardy that I saw when I was very, very, very young. So, and I remember that I thought that because I'm white, but in my school, I'm the only white. I was the only white, and everybody was African, you know. And I remember that it's so unfair. A cinema full of people and a white cinema to be shown to these people. Mm-hmm. Really unfair. That's why I made films, and films are so important, and African cinema is so important for me. It's in my
DNA.
DNA.
And now, back at the Berlinale, you said your film is done and you're done with it. You can just set it free and see where it goes, but you don't want to think too much about the film anymore?
No. Of course, we need to make posters. Of course, Hitchcock made posters too, designed the posters. Of course, we need to make the posters. We need to be attention where the film is, but we have to accept. We made a film, and if people don't like it, we have to accept. It's our identity. It's our everything. It's we do it well. So we have to accept. It's only that.
Do you have to do a lot of explaining, and do you like it when people come up to you or when you have to Q&A?
No, of course, because it's the cinema. It's connected with the thought. So and only cinema it's not sufficient. only cinema, it's not sufficient. We need the Q&A, and we need to reflect after the film, always, always. Because we work with different parts of brain, you know?
Yeah.
We have two parts of brain. We need to, when we talk, we need to connect to the other part and put the two sides in connection. We are complex, and we have to accept this complexity, but at the same time we are simple. We are really simple. And we are like childs, we are always in school. So, and we have to be modest, and every day it's a day to learn, and we day to celebrate life, and yeah.
I hope in the future it won't be that we are all wearing these VR headsets and everybody is alone, but you see these virtual characters of avatars of other people around you. So you're not alone, but you are alone. So this might be a future we are heading into. This could happen.
But it's more poor because you don't have the whole collective identity that you need, you know, and the Q&A after that.
And to feel the energy in the room.
Of course, yeah.